Good morning, dear children. Come back to online classes. Today we are going to see the topic to control, guide, and inform the government. This is Civics, third chapter. We have already learned first function, that is to select the national government. This is the second topic, to control, guide, and inform the government. The parliament, while in session, begins with a question hour. The question hour is an important mechanism through which MPs can elicit information about the working of the government. There is a very important way through which the parliament controls the executive. Executive means a group of people who implement the laws. By asking questions, the government is altered to its shortcomings and also comes to know the opinion of the people through their representative in the parliament, that is the MPs. MPs means member of the parliament. Asking questions of the government is a crucial task for every MP. The opposition party plays a critical role in the healthy functioning of a democracy. They highlight drawbacks in various policies and programs of the government and mobilize popular support for their own policies. Now, the government gets valuable feedback and is kept on its toes by the question asked by the MPs. In addition, in all matters dealing with finances, the Parliament's approval is crucial for the government. This is one of the several ways in which the Parliament controls, guides, and informs the government. The MPs, as representatives of the people, have a central role in controlling, guiding, and informing Parliament, and this is a key aspect of the functioning of Indian democracy. Now, the third function is law making. Law making is a significant function of Parliament. We shall read it in the next chapter. The third law making is the third function of the Parliament. Who are the people in Parliament? Parliament now has more and more people from different backgrounds. For example, there are more rural members as also members from many regional parties, groups, and people that were till now unrepresented are beginning to get elected to parliament. There has also been an increase in political participation from the Dalits and backward classes. There is a realization that when interests and experience separate us, it is important to ensure that communities that have been historically marginalized are given adequate representation. Within this with this in mind, some seats are reserved in a parliament for SCs and STs. SCs means scheduled caste and STs is scheduled tribes. This has been done so that MPs selected from these constituencies will be familiar with and can represent Dalit and Adivasi interests in the parliament. Similarly, it has more recently been suggested that there should be reservation of seats for women. This issue is still being debated. 60 years ago, only 4% of MPs were women, and today it is just about 11%. This is a small share when you consider the fact that half the population are women. It is issues of this kind that force the country to ask certain difficult and often unsolved questions about the whether our democratic system is representative enough. The fact that we can ask These questions and are working towards answers in a reflection of the strength and faith that people in India have in a democratic form of government. Here is one question. Let us discuss one of the question. Why do you think there are so few women in parliament? Discuss. There are so few women in parliament because they have lack of interest in politics. Females are less encouraged by their guardians to enter into politics. Besides, they are advised to opt for other jobs such as doctor, teacher, etc.